Sí, ya sé.
humanitarian aid to people without
Pero
documents here.
las autoridades lo
It's the same
detienen.
sort of gray zone.
We're talking about the actual immigrants. It is a felony in the United States to be illegally without documents. It's not a public offense. They do detain you.
Están explicando
If they catch
que
you,
¿Cuál es la
if you don't
declaración?
have a
si te cachan sin permiso, te detienen
be deported.
y te van a deportar si no tienes país en México, pero no eres criminal. Es como aquí, si no tienes visa, no tienes permiso, es la ley.
It seems like there's just a sort of a language
Es
difference
una
in that
diferencia en
you
lenguaje
could be
en que
deported
pueden
for not
deportarte
having
por no tener
the right status.
el estatus correcto, pero eso es diferente de haber cometido un
Right, so
crimen.
being here
Entonces,
technically
ser
is a
aquí
crime,
no es
but you
un
still can't be
crimen,
here.
pero no,
So we deport
no puedes
people,
estar aquí. Entonces, se
But they
deporta a
haven't
gente, pero
committed
no han
crimes.
cometido
So I guess
crímenes.
it's sort of our understanding of the
Es
difference
nuestro
between
entendimiento
criminal justice
entre
system
la
and
diferencia
the
entre
administrative justice
el,
system. It's a civil
el
violation
sí,
to be here without
es una
papers, but it's not a
violación
crime.
civil el no estar aquí sin papeles, pero no es un crimen como no es un crimen estar aquí, entonces te ponen en una es una diferencia de
And before
términos
this law, it was
sutil.
criminalized to give any
Y
sort of
antes era
humanitarian aid,
criminalizado dar
to give
ayuda
medical aid to
humanitaria,
someone
de dar
who
ayuda
was without
médica
papers in Mexico.
para una
There was
persona
that
sin
same sort of
papeles.
law that was going through our
Este
system
es
a
el
few
mismo
years
tipo
ago,
de
but,
leyes que se están
obviously we
tratando
know
de
that
pasar en nuestro
you're allowed to
sistema.
be a young person without
ser
papers in the school system and
puede
still
ser una persona
you have the right to
sin
an education
documentos.
here. There's some sort of services that we believe are human rights. and
Creemos
that
que hay
doesn't matter
algunos
which
diferentes
status
tipos de
it is.
servicios que
There's
son
some
leyes,
some gray room in
derechos
both
humanos
policies.
que se reconocen. Y eso es más o menos.
Well, we should probably wrap up because I don't, there may be another event in here later, but
Este
I
tenemos un evento
thank
después.
everyone.
Muchas gracias a todos
so
por
much.
venir.
Este es nuestro tiempo libre. Vemos que
Now, you can't argue that necessarily in Darfur, because almost everyone in Darfur is, yeah, they are Muslims. Now, the people of Darfur, as I understand, follow the Sufi style of Islam, and the Janjaweed and the Arab tribes follow the Wahhabi style. Is that correct, Peter? Okay, so there's a clear cultural difference, but also if you wipe out the African tribes, you no longer have this large population of African people that the government wants nothing to do with, and has never had a history of protecting or providing for. So they're gone. And then you've also got this whole conflict, this whole land resource issue that's happening in Darfur. The Africans want to farm the land, the Arabs want to graze on the land. There's quite frankly not enough land to support these two peoples. Well, the African farming tribe's gone, that's not a conflict anymore either. So it's practical for the government of Sudan.
You see, the government wants to control the oil and wanted to dislodge the people of the tribes in Darfur from that area, such that the Arab Janjaweed should be the one, the Arab from South Darfur to be the one to settle there.
To settle. Okay.
I wanted to mention, on behalf of Peace Action Wisconsin, we're the sponsor for this forum. And this is the second forum that we've done on the Sudan. Also, a year ago or so, we did a forum on Haiti. And Peace Action Wisconsin is a 30-year-old peace and justice group, a membership group. We have 3,000 members throughout the state of Wisconsin. And we work by committee up. And as Irie mentioned earlier, she's a member of our Pan-African Committee, which we recently established. And we also welcome future work in partnership with the African Association here in Milwaukee. We feel that's so important. But the tools of peace action are education, lobbying, and public witness. You know, as we've talked today, this is a very complex situation. It's not simple. And at the same time, in order for us to improve it and bring about change, we need to get more people to understand it. And so education is so important. So that's one of our missions, is to continue to have forums to educate around these and other issues around Africa and the Caribbean. Peace Actions focuses on foreign policy, and heck yeah, we're in there with the war in Iraq and Israel, Palestine. But at the same time, when I'm working internationally and I'm sitting down with 25 African countries, they're saying, we got 50 wars going on all the time. we have 250,000 children kidnapped to fight in militias. We've got 200,000 women kidnapped into prostitution. We've got hundreds of thousands of children working slave labor. And so it's critical that we work together on these issues and begin to educate and get more of this out in the public. Our committee meets once a month. And anyone who's in the Milwaukee area, we'd certainly ask you to join us. And we also have joined in with the Wisconsin Darfur Coalition, which I'd like you to mention when I'm done with this. But also, Peace Action works in terms of lobbying and working with our congressional representatives. We send out actions alerts to say, you know, call your Congress people to not vote for the budget for the war in Iraq. In the same way, we want to develop, and we have a system to let the public know what we ought to be pressuring Congress on around African issues or around Caribbean issues. We've seen the injustice in Haiti. And that all still comes back to who's making the buck and who's making the profit. So, you know, we would encourage you to do this. And our third tool is public witness. Public witness or civil disobedience or demonstrations. And about a month ago, there was a huge demonstration in Washington around the Darfur issue. We didn't see much of it in the local press, but we want to be able to communicate and join in with those kinds of efforts because they do make a difference. They help change public opinion. And I mentioned earlier that our Congresswoman Gwen Morgan had gotten arrested. You know, this is all part of what we do to try to bring about change. So we invite you to join us, to join in our committee. I have a handout out here that we'll pass out after the meeting that has our contact information, our phone number and website. But I want you to be aware of that. And also, we believe in joining with other organizations to have more power. Here in Wisconsin, we join with 37 other states to become National Peace Action and have over 100,000 paid members who are concerned and work on these issues. We have joined the Wisconsin Darfur Coalition. We feel that's so important, and I'll ask Angie to share a little bit about that with us.
Sure. The Wisconsin Darfur Action Coalition is basically a group of religious organizations, for example, different temples and churches in the Milwaukee area, also student groups, cultural organizations that have joined together to agitate and to be active for the people in Darfur. We've done a couple things. We helped coordinate about 50,000, we sent 15,000 postcards to the White House from the Darfur Action Coalition of Wisconsin. 15,000 for a state of our size is actually quite a large number. It's part of the National Million Voices for Darfur. We want to send 1 million postcards to the White House. I believe President Bush got his 1,000th postcard for Darfur just a couple weeks ago. That was from Bill Frist or Hillary Clinton, I can't remember which. I've got some postcards here, if you can fill one out now, we're still sending them. Basically, they asked President Bush to do more for the people of Darfur. We're also trying to organize a coalition of people who are going to go to the September 17th March on the United Nations in Washington, D.C. Again, just wanting the United Nations and President Bush know there are thousands and millions of people in the United States who want us to stop genocide in Darfur. If you're interested in being a part of that coalition, let me know. I've got some sign-up sheets and I can contact you with more information. We're also bringing Simon Deng here. He's an Olympic medal swimmer from Sudan. As a boy, he was arrested during the North-South Civil War and became a slave in northern Sudan. He'll be coming here August 18th, 19th, and 20th. We'll have a number of events and fundraisers in the Milwaukee area to benefit the people of Darfur. Got more information about seeing Mr. Deng speak, please let me know, or attending one of those events. We'll bring him here again toward the end of August. So if you want a postcard, let me know. If you'd like to become an individual member or a community member of the coalition, let me know. If you want to hear more about Simon Deng, let me know that. And we also need people from the following districts in Wisconsin. There's 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8. Basically, you've got people from Kenosha to Mequon who are signed up to meet with their congressional representatives and ask the United States to send or to activate for a UN mission in Darfur. But we still need people from the Madison region, Fox Valley, northern and central Wisconsin, and western Wisconsin to agree to meet with their congressional representative. We'll provide you with talking points. We're happy to meet with you, but we need people to head out there and talk with representatives.
Okay.
I'll know this matters. If you're interested in doing that, please let us know. We need you. Districts 2, 3, 6, 7, and 8.
Okay, we are real short on time. Last question.
Yeah, just a quick question. So if we go to your website, Peace Action, Wisconsin, or your website, or we do have like a bibliography of, resources to read on the issue?
I'd advise you to go to places like SudanTribune.com, Passion of the Present, International Crisis Group, whether it's crisisgroup.com or crisisgroup.org, has got some great history. What was that again? International Crisis Group. I believe it's just crisisgroup.com or crisisgroup.org.
Also, from the standpoint of peace action, we don't have those references listed on our website. Our committee is fairly new, but our committee has been leaning on the websites of Trans-Africa, which is Danny Glover is the president, Harry Belafonte is chairman of the board, and they've been very strong in terms of African and Caribbean issues over the years. Also, Africa Alert is a website that lists legislation in terms of what's happening in the U.S. Congress and where we might apply it. And so that's a look at what's happening in Congress and how we can work with that. And also Africa News is a tremendous website categorizing hundreds and hundreds of news sources in Africa, and it's a great resource.
Well, we would like to thank you. This has been The Crisis in Darfur. I have been your moderator, Ivory A. Black, with the Ethiopian World Federation and the First Church of Rasta. Now, you have learned a wealth of information. It is now up to you and on you to spread what it is that you learned, and not just take in the information, but to also call it into action. Thank you.
And before you run, can I just say this? Dinner's starting, and dinner's got an hour and a half, and we're running here, and I really enjoyed this discussion. Every member of our panelists just got back from Africa and works in a different vein, and if you've got 5 minutes and can stay in, and if you can't stay, we understand it. But I'd like to hear what you've been doing on your trip and what you're doing.
Well, I am with the Ethiopian World Federation, and the last 4... The Ethiopian World Federation, yes. And the last 4 months, I have been activated in Ghana, West Africa, on peace mission assignment to work with the organization called RUHA, which stands for Rasta Unity Home and Abroad. If you're not aware or